Good afternoon, everybody. My name is David Higdon from NASCAR. I welcome all of you to NASCAR Championship 4 Media Day here at the Lowe's Beach, Miami. Very excited to also recognize our fans who are following us live on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, streaming live on NASCAR.com, as well as Facebook Live. So we appreciate you joining us wherever you may be and sharing your passion for NASCAR with us. To the media here with us today, thank you again for your extensive coverage over many weeks. It's been a great season, and I'm pleased to see so many new faces here with us today for our season finale as well. I hope that you enjoy the NASCAR experience and share it with your followers. We are also very pleased to welcome so many of our official partners who have joined us here. So earlier today, the final Fuel for Business event took place, and we've asked several of our sponsors and partners to come join us today. Welcome. The theme of their event was Together We Drive Wins. Couldn't be more apt given the four athletes here today who obviously had the bulk of the wins for the season for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship, and they've earned their way to this final culminating weekend. So we will be introducing them one at a time. First up, his dramatic win at Phoenix locked up a spot in the Championship 4. The driver of the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford for Team Penske. Please welcome Joey Logano.
Got a new leader, Joey Logano.
Oh yeah, get ready to party. Checker, baby. Yeah, baby.
It's Logano with sole possession of the lead in 3.
Logano up front.
All by himself at the front of the field.
Logano wins today, and he's headed to Miami.
Number one seed, man. Number one seed. On Sunday, he'll look to make history with a 7th NASCAR Sprint Cup Series championship to join legends Dale Earnhardt and Richard Petty, the driver of the number 48 Lowe's Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports, Jimmie Johnson.
Jimmie Johnson tried to grab the lead. Great afternoon for the 6-time champ.
What an incredible race the 48 team and Jimmie Johnson have run.
Jimmie takes the lead in turn 4.
Great job, Jimmie Johnson.
Jimmie Johnson has won yet again.
Thank you, boys.
He has punched his ticket to Homestead.
Yeah, boys, we're back. Hell yeah!
His dramatic win at Texas earned him a berth in the Championship 4. Driver of the number 19 Aris Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing, Carl Edwards.
It will be Carl Edwards on the outside.
Carl Edwards well out in front.
Edwards celebrating as the winner.
Checkered flag in the air. Carl Edwards.
Here's what I'm talking about.
They're going to have to take it away from Carl if they're going to win it.
Oh,
How did he pull that off?
Carl Edwards to win it.
You're a fan, dude.
And finally, he looks to go back-to-back. The defending NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion and driver of the number 18 M&M's Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing, Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch powers around the outside for the lead.
Time for all you haters to shut up.
Kyle Busch completes the weekend sweep. Kyle Busch
Busch will see the checkered flag as he wins in dominating fashion.
Kyle Busch, 37 victories.
Yeah, baby. Adam Stevens, you guys are the bomb. Woo! You're the best, Kyle. It don't get any better.
All right. We'll welcome everyone. We'll open it right up to questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll get a mic to you. Please state your name and affiliation before asking your question. So we will start with Greg. We'll go over to Al, and then in the front row with PRN.
A general question for all you guys. Greg Engel, cupscene.com. General question, nervous or excited? And Carl, from you, I want to know, have you thought about what your Twitter handle is going to be yet, if you need it?
I don't know about the Twitter handle, but I'm pretty excited. I mean, oh yeah, just I don't even know how Twitter works. So I know Jimmie got a lot of hits for his bicycle riding this week, and that was pretty fun. But yeah, I'm just excited. I think I'm imagining all of us are just to get to go race. This is a pretty awesome opportunity, and our 19 team has been looking forward to something like this. So really excited to get in the car.
Yeah, I mean, same thing, just excited right now. I'm sure nerves will kick in at some point, and there's going to be challenges for all four teams during the course of the race or qualifying practice, whatever it might be. This is a moment that I think we all really embrace and enjoy. As a competitor, you hope to be in a championship moment, and we're the fortunate four that have come through and have a shot at it. So I think we're all welcoming it.
Yeah, what they said. that was a good answer, guys. No, it's an awesome opportunity to be here. You know, there's only four of us that get the opportunity to race for a championship, and that's an amazing opportunity that we're going to enjoy and be excited about. Embrace the pressure and have some fun with this whole thing.
Yeah, definitely excited for the opportunity. Once you're eligible or once you're locked into the Final Four, having that opportunity to go at home to Homestead and have a chance for that championship is certainly exciting. But then past that, you know, you got to move on and you got to definitely put your focus forward and being able to make sure that you can go out there and achieve and excel at what you need to on Sunday.
All right, we'll go over to Al, and then back to Mark, and then to Jeff.
Yeah, this is for Carl. Carl Al Pierce from Auto Week. How much does the tie with Tony in 11 still rankle you? Does it still kind of hang in your head?
You know, I got to my hotel the other night in New York, flipping through the channels, I was like, the hell is that on the TV? And it was that race. And I thought, I sat and watched it, and I thought, man, this is really motivating. I really, really want to win this one. So yeah, I guess it's a motivator, and I thought the experience was great. You know, I was just thinking that while we were sitting. The last time I had this opportunity, it was just against two guys. This is much more dynamic and probably in a lot of ways going to be tougher. It's different, but I feel like that experience was very good. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was a lot of fun.
All right, we'll go over to Mark, Jeff, and then Bob Pockras.
Mark Garrow, PRN. For all four of you, kind of handicap this group in the fact that between you have 14 wins, and in the past, maybe among the four guys that have gotten to the championship four, one of them might have been a shock or a surprise if they won. It obviously wouldn't be with you four, so I'd just like for you guys to handicap how tough this championship four is.
I don't think it's ever easy. Everyone's here for a reason. These are the four best teams this year. It's been proven that they've either been consistent or can win when they have to. If they had some troubles earlier in one of the rounds, everyone was able to get through. And there's not many guys that are able to do it, and obviously it was so close. There's a lot of pressure that's been put on these race teams, and these are the race teams that are able to handle it. A lot of people can go a different way when there's pressure put on them, but these teams here seem to be the ones that are best this year, and one of them will prevail at the end.
I don't really know what to add, to be honest. I mean, it's hard to handicap. Do it by the numbers. We each have a 25% shot at this thing. So, outside of that, you can fall on some past history potentially, but then again, it's a new race, it's a new year, and a new set of circumstances. So it's really hard to put any weight anywhere.
All right, we'll skip the Joe Gibbs guys on that one. How's that? All right? We'll go to Jeff, Bob, and then over to Jenna.
Jeff Clark from USA Today. Do you guys like each other?
Kyle, I'll let you answer that.
Right now, yes. In about 25 more seconds, no.
Yeah, we love each other. I don't know what do you want me to say. It's past like.
I would say it's kind of been fun this week, you know. Being in it last year, I thought it was pretty fun. It was kind of more of a sending off of Jeff, if you will. So we were all kind of cordial with each other because we probably kind of had to be because it was nice to be for Jeff. This year, it's just been fun. I mean, these guys are easy to get along with, easy to talk to, easy to have a good time with, and joke around, mess around. So it's been good.
All right, we'll go to Bob, Jenna, and then over to Art in the front row here.
Bob Pockers, ESPN. For Kyle, and maybe if anybody else wants to chime in, when will you know whether you have a car to beat this weekend? Will you know first practice Friday, or it won't be till Saturday?
Honestly, I don't think you will know if you have a car to beat because so many things change throughout the weekend. I mean, track conditions, rain in and out. Although the forecast looks nice, you know, last year with the rain and the forecast, everything. You know, there were definitely different guys that had a shot that were capable of winning that weren't in the chase. So you could look at that respect as well too. We could go this weekend and you could see a Denny or a Matt be just as fast as Carl or I, and they have a shot to win the race, you know. So it's really every man for himself when it comes down to Sunday. But as the weekend goes, I don't think you can count on qualifying. I don't think you can count on practices, you know, or the beginning part of the race, because as the race goes on, track changes, shade comes on. I think we're going to end right at dusk, you know, dark. So it's going to be all the way to the end.
All right, we'll go to Jenna, then over to Art, and then Matt Doolittle.
Jenna Fryer, Associated Press. I'm asking you this not from an entertainment, create drama standpoint, but more from a psychological standpoint. There was a big UFC fight last week. Everybody knows a lot about that. Conor McGregor tried to hit the other guy with a chair in the press conference leading into it. You guys have alluded.
Sorry, we're letting you down.
No. You're not letting me down.
Honestly, there's probably more drama out here if we really get down to it.
No, I'm not asking for drama. From a psychological standpoint, you guys spent the whole week, you know, all week together. You're getting along. You're enjoying each other. When in theory, in sports where people are battling individually, they don't do that. So how do you guys flip it on Sunday and all of a sudden want to really beat each other?
I think the theory in sport might be a perspective, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I grew up and this has been the kind of sport event where, hey, you go in there and you respect your competitor as best, you know, I realize what these guys are capable of. And I think that being able to go have, you know, respect for your competitor, but still, when that race starts, we're going to race each other, I mean, with a lot of intensity. I don't think you have to be throwing chairs at each other to have a good competition on the field of battle.
I think you see that in all sports. You watch a football game, after the game, they're all shaking each other's hands after they just knock the heck out of each other. You know, that happens, and you even watch a hockey game afterwards, they all shake hands, and whether they want to or not, they seem forced in that sport. But at least, I know. But, you know, I do think there's obviously a switch that everyone, maybe when they put their helmet on, things change, right? We're all out there as competitors, but right now, we're outside the car, we might still get along, right? We got to spend a lot of time together this week.
And I think one other thing that plays into that, and I'm not sure people like it or love it, but you know, the 39th race we probably had against each other this year, and then years of doing it. So we do have a rapport, and we also do learn how to socialize outside of the car, and then how to flip the switch that you mentioned. So it's just something I guess we grow up dealing with from a young age, racing however we did as youngsters up to now. And we're a fighter or somebody, they might see that guy once or twice in that moment. And, oh, by the way, in the UFC, they try to kill each other anyway. So it's all about killing the guy.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, I don't know how the other guys feel, but I don't think anything I'm going to say to these guys is going to make their car any slower on Sunday. So there's really no point. I mean, I know it's entertaining for you guys, but...
All right, we'll go to Art, Matt Doolittle, and then to George Diaz.
This one's for Jimmie, Art here at lifeofdad.com. Jimmie, it's cool to see you with your family and your daughters celebrate a win. As a father, what does it mean to you to experience a win and celebrate with your daughters?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously our sport takes a lot out of us, and families have to sacrifice a lot to support us. And have my kids at an age now where they somewhat understand what Dad does makes it all the more enjoyable. And to share those moments of success, it's a nice way to enjoy the moment as a family and a reward for all that goes into it. But then at the same time, those little eyes and ears are paying attention. And in the tough times, I've been asked questions, well, Daddy, why were you so mad? You didn't handle that very well, did you, Dad? So, it goes both ways. But it's a fun experience to have with your family. And again, they sacrifice so much to let me do what I love that, I'll cherish those moments I do have with them.
I don't think your YouTube channel is going to be near as entertaining as mine.
You'll have a lot of explaining to do.
All right,
Don't make him throw a chair at you.
All right, we'll go to Matt, George Diaz, and then Jeff Hayden.
Hey guys, Matt Doolittle with Shakedown Zone. It's a big weekend for me as a NASCAR fan before I even got into the media side of it. The first race I ever went to, Tony Stewart won, and this is coming up on his last race. What does he mean to you guys, whether he's been a teammate, an adversary for the last couple years, and then does anybody have a Tony Stewart story they can share? Because Elliott Sadler had one that he didn't want to tell me, so does anybody have one they can actually share?
There's some that are unshareable. Let's just put it at that. As far as I go, I came into this sport young in age, 18, and I was with Hendrick at the time and teammates with Jimmie and Jeff, and I was essentially a competitor of Tony's. And in my rookie year, I remember it was Las Vegas, and we were running around there, and I think I was running third. Tony was behind me trying to get by. I was kind of holding him up a little bit, but then he pounded the fence off of 2 and faded, and I ended up finishing second to Jimmie there. And so later, after the race was over, he was really pissed, and his crew chief basically called him an idiot for hitting the fence, And so all Tony wanted to do was fight, essentially. But I waited 7 days before I met with him, which was California the next week, and we sat in the motorhome. We talked it all out, and went on there, and we've been good ever since. It even became better friends and allies when we became teammates at Joe Gibbs Racing. So I've been on the really, really bad side of Tony, and I've been on the really, really good side of Tony, and it's obviously way better to be on the better side. But I also think Tony's been a little bit more forgiving with age, so he's definitely gotten easier to work with and to be with and to race against too. So he's been awesome. Just my entire career, he's one of my heroes that I grew up watching. Jeff obviously was probably my number one, but then also when Tony got involved in the sport, he was probably a close second as to the guy that I really looked up to and followed along with. Get it? I followed along. Tony? Got it.
Just to add to that, I feel that, I wasn't old enough to really watch a Pernelli Jones or an AJ Foyt race in all these different vehicles and win and succeed. But Tony Stewart, I was able to see that. So I just feel like he's a driver that maybe, not that he was a generation too late, but like he could have fit in so well in some previous eras and raced anything anywhere in the world and won and been successful. And I have a ton of respect for him. I absolutely do. And I've gotten to know him very well over the years. And one of my big eye-opening moments about the vast differences in his personality, Daytona 500, we're in the transporter fighting it out. Mike Helton's not happy with either one of us. Crew chiefs and owners are there. And then the following year, we're racing in the Rolex 24, and he's going to give me a ride from the Las Vegas test session down to Daytona for the 24-hour race. And I get on his airplane, and there are 2 Greyhound dogs. And we get up in the air, he cuts up 2 filet mignons, which I think are probably our meals, and he feeds to the dogs, and then he reaches into a Burger King bag and throws me a Whopper. I said, all right, this is interesting. There are two racing dogs that he had rescued and had somewhere he was taking them to take care of them. So.
Anything from you, Carl, on Tony or Joey?
Just for me, that battle, that we talked about, and I've talked about a lot this week, but to get to race Tony at, his best for a championship was a really cool experience. And then
to be able to see how much last week I got to give him the helmet that I wore during that race, and to see how much that meant to him and how important that battle was to him. That was really cool. I'm a lot like these guys. I watched him on his way up. He won the Triple Crown, the USAC Triple Crown that year. That was spectacular. And then to see him progress, and then finally to be able to battle him like that, that was a lot of fun.
So on Monday night, did you turn the TV off near the end of the race, or?
Yeah, I had seen enough after about 5 or 10 minutes. I thought, man, I'm ready to crawl out of my skin to go racing right now. So yeah, I had to shut it off.
Joey?
Yeah, I think, you know, I've been on both ends of Tony as well, like Kyle, but talk about just the ultimate racer, right? He's the racer's racer. He's, you know, obviously with his dirt track and all the different things that he's done for our sport, you know, and he's got a huge heart. I think that's something that a lot of people don't know about Tony as much as, you know, you see from the outside that, you know, he's a hard-nosed racer, and you see the drive and determination from that standpoint. But outside of the car, you see that he's got a very giving heart, which is something that's really cool. You know, from seeing both sides of it, it's been fun. Obviously, I got to take over, you know, the 20 car when he moved on to start his own race team, and got to spend a lot of time with his race team after that, and heard plenty of stories about him. And a lot of them, yes, I can't share, but it was a lot of fun, you know, getting to know him over that part in the beginning part of my career.
All right, we'll go to George Diaz, Jeff Hayden, and then Joe Poznansky, please.
Yeah, Kyle, over George Diaz over here with the Orlando Sentinel. Last year you qualified for the chase and won the thing under challenging circumstances given your what happened at the start of the year. Is it apples and oranges coming back as a defending champion, and very different dynamics of how you got here to this stage today? Can you just talk about that?
Yeah, I certainly would think that it's different from last year for sure. Last year I was just a part-time champion, so this year I hope to become a full-time champion. The other aspect of that was, you know, we won 4 races last year in a way shorter period of time. I should have won way more than 4 races this year in the extra 11 races that I had to race in. But as far as throughout the chase, it kind of looked the same, if not a little bit better. Last year we kind of had a little run in here or there that tried to knock us out or eliminate us from the chase, but this year we seem to have really good races throughout, and we ran consistent. We did all the things that we needed to do. We scored the most points in order to get ourselves through. We weren't as flashy as maybe some of these other guys in being able to win races when we needed to, or if our backs were against the wall. We never had that, but we certainly had a challenging weekend in Phoenix, for instance, and we persevered through the entire day, and we were able to get home in a second-place finish. So, you know, I feel like this year we're just as prepared, if not a little bit better than last year. But also, you could look at, you know, Harvick's scenario. He was the defending champion coming up through, one of the only guys to make the Final Four, and same situation as myself, and he got beat. So as Jimmie said earlier, you know, it's a whole different circumstances. It's a whole different race. I don't think past success you can look at or necessarily reference, because it's a new day on Sunday, and new challenges persist.
All right, we'll go to Jeff, Joe, and then over to Jordan.
Jeff Hayden, Inc. Magazine. Carl, you've got a couple sponsors this year that are in this position. Unlike the other guys, it's new to them. So from a relationship point of view, do they call you during the week and say, are you sleeping, are you hydrating, you know, how are you feeling? Like, do you feel added pressure because of that?
No, I don't. Thanks for bringing it up. The Eris folks, a bunch of them are really, really excited. A bunch of them are coming to the race, and so that's really neat to see how excited they are. It's my first opportunity to be in championship position with Toyota, so a lot of neat things going on with that. You know, Kyle can attest to how special these opportunities are to them. So yeah, I feel this is an opportunity for the people like Comcast and Xfinity and you know, Eris and all the folks that kind of came over here and started this 19 team. It's an opportunity for me to put them, you know, their names under the lights and hopefully get them that championship.
All right, we'll go to
Joe. No pressure. No pressure.
Joe, Jordan, and then Brian Mapes at Xfinity.
Hi, Joe Poznansky from NBC Sports. For each of you guys, Yeah, obviously, every week you guys are trying to win. How much different is everything, preparation, and then the actual race day when you have to win, when you're just going in a race where the only option is to win? How much different does it make everything for what you guys do?
I mean, for us, it's the same exact thing for us and Kyle, or at least it's the same thing we had to do last week. Last week was part one of our championship, and now this is part two. So I feel like I've kind of lived this once before, as far as last week, and not only a couple years ago as well. So I think that all helps. But for the most part, it's still another race. You're still going to have to go out there. We're going to have to beat each other. We're going to have to beat the rest of the cars as well. To go out there, there's going to be a lot of fast cars here trying to end on a very good note for the end of the season. So for us, at least for the 22 team, we're going to stay constant to what we typically do. The way we work practices, the way we prepare for the race at the shop this week was very normal. Obviously we all think about what's on the line, and we know what's on the line, and we make sure that we've talked about everything and thought about everything that can happen and be as prepared as possible. But at the same time, you got to look at it. It's still a race. It's still just like every other race this year that we're going to try to win. Our goals don't change.
Does it make you nervous that he doesn't have a recorder? He was writing all that?
He didn't hear.
That's amazing.
What did you write down? There was anything that I just
sorry.
I said a lot of words. There's no way he could write that quick.
He was writing like that fast. That's good. Sorry.
Is someone else recording this?
I think we're all kind of in that mode. We were able to win 2 rounds in the chase in advance. The 19-1 in Texas, Kyle virtually had to win at Phoenix. I think we've all had that exposure, plus past experiences with championships. I've sat on this stage or a stage like this before, where guys were kind of going for their first opportunity under these lights, maybe not their first time at a championship. And I don't have that luxury this year. Everybody here has been in this moment. They know what the weekend's going to be like. They know how the pressure's going to come in, and as Joey mentioned, we've all kind of had to operate with this mindset as this new format's come along. So guys are much more advanced and seasoned with, stress management than my last championships with the old format.
Yeah, and for me, I'm going to be honest, this week feels different to me. I mean, it is that we do have to go do the same job like these guys said, but for me, I mean, each moment I'm trying to, I almost have to pinch myself like, hey, this is really it. We're getting to do this. It's so there is more excitement for me personally. But yeah, I think once you get in the car, everything kind of slow down, but I'm having fun with it.
Probably more so down the path of Logano's answer. Just, we've been doing this, that each round is different. There's different preparation for each round, but yet you try to go through and strategize with your crew and your crew chief and stuff like that to make sure that you're as best prepared as possible. So, you try to make sure that you do everything you need to do to focus on what's ahead this week. This week you're only working on Homestead, versus other weeks you're working on maybe 3 tracks at a time. So, preparation is key, and do what you can and do what you've always done. Don't change much.
Okay, we'll go to Jordan, Brian, and then Tom Jensen.
Jordan Bianchi, SB Nation. This is for all of you. Last 2 years in this format, the champion won this race, and the guy who finished second in the championship. With knowing that coming into here, is your mentality, we have to win this weekend?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it already. I mean, yes, we get that point. Been there.
Brian? Good question, Jordan. I'm messing with you. That's going to be a great Carl Edwards article coming out of that.
Brian, Tom, and then over to Jeff.
Brian Mapes with Xfinity Sports. It's the first time there's been a chase in the Xfinity Series and in the Camping World Truck Series. I was wondering if you guys had picks for those 2 races, Friday and Saturday.
Christopher Bell and Eric Jones.
Yeah, I figured that one.
No. I'm going to have to go with the Junior Motorsports cars. I almost said JGR, but the Junior Motorsports cars.
What
Yeah, Crafton and Suarez would be awesome.
I mean, I can actually pick because you guys all you were forced to pick the ones you picked. So I'm going with Johnny Sauter because he's awesome, right? I'm a Johnny Sauter fan. How do you not root for Johnny Sauter?
God bless America.
God bless America. That guy's aggressive. I love watching him, so I hope he does it. And my spotter spots for him as well, which is, I guess, a little bit more. You don't remember the God Bless America thing? They were telling the story. And the Xfinity race, the 22 Team Penske car is running for the Owners' Championship, or the secret championship no one knows about. So I'm going to root for that car. I got a little invested interest in that one.
All right, Tom Jensen. Actually, no, I got Jeff, right? Jeff's up. Tom Jensen first, and then over to Jeff, and then we'll go down to Alan Cavana.
Okay, guys, Tom Jensen, foxsports.com, over on the other side. 4 great drivers, 4 great teams. You guys have won a bunch of races. What decides it on Sunday?
Whoever's out front and takes the checker flag first.
Great article about you coming up.
Trust me, you can't write anything worse than what's already been written.
No, seriously.
I think with it ending at night, there's all of our practices during the day, and then we race in the afternoon and end at night. There's got to be something. Part of the storyline is how you adjusted with the racetrack. It seems that there's a few cautions at the end, so maybe somebody's restart ability or how a restart goes for somebody could come into play. Maybe even tire strategy, fits into that. But I'd say it's in that mindset.
Yeah, and if you watch look at Kyle's race last week. Ran kind of middle of the pack most of the race, and then was able to adjust and make it to the end. So I think being able to adjust for just the type of things that he was talking about could be huge.
Agreed. The track changes a lot. For sure. Rewatching last year, you watched the 78 car, he didn't have a bunch of speed, but every opportunity they had to put 2 tires on or to change the strategy up, he got himself up there. There was parts of the race that he could have won the championship with a car that wasn't the fastest. So a lot of things can happen towards the end of this race, and we've seen a green-white checker before, and having long runs versus short runs and where your car's fast is going to definitely be a story because this racetrack, tires wear out a lot. So there's comers and goers throughout a run.
We'll go to Jeff, Alan Cavana, Chris Knight.
Hey guys, Jeffrey Miller, Athlon Sports. This question's for Carl and Joey. How does a championship on Sunday change your self-perception of your racing career?
Obviously, I think as an athlete in general, and a lot of times people judge your career off of championships that you have. You can have that conversation in a lot of different ways and say this guy's made this many points or this guy did this in his career, but how many championships does he have? That's what it always comes down to in those arguments. So obviously to have that next to your name means a lot. Means a whole bunch. Means probably even more to me to be able to do that for Roger Penske in his 50th anniversary this year. In motorsports, that's something that would be very special. And that's the ultimate goal, right? You start the season and what do you say? I want to win the championship. You don't say I want to win a certain amount of races. You say I want to win the big prize at the end. So obviously to be able to do that means a lot.
Yeah, it'd be great. And I think it'd be great for, you can print that. It'd be great for a different reason for me at this point in my career than when I started. I'm starting to just realize how difficult this is, obviously. And for me, it'd be a lot about, like he said, for Roger Penske, it'd be good for me to do it for Coach Gibbs, for starting this 4th team, for Dave Rogers, for all the people who've helped me. I've got Cessnas flying a plane full of people from Missouri to come be a part of this that have helped me. So, it'd be really special for all those reasons. As far as self-perception, probably like most race car drivers, I kind of have an ego problem already. So it could put me over the edge, honestly.
All right, Alan, Chris Knight.
It wouldn't make a helmet big enough, huh?
I mean, of all my good qualities, humility's up there, but, tops.
All right, Alan, and then over to Chris.
Alan Cavana, Fox Sports. A similar question for Joey. You were in this in 2014, Carl, 2011, obviously. What have you two guys learned from losing a championship?
It's not great.
It kind of sucks, but you know, when I was up here a couple of years ago, and I was up here and I got a question about the people that say you have to lose one to win one, and I thought that was the biggest line of BS I've ever heard in my life, and I didn't like that that statement. And I don't believe that you have to lose one to win one, but I do believe you learn a lot by going through the experience once, and going through this actual format once, through this whole weekend. You know, at that point, you know, like Jimmie said, I was the guy that sat here for the first time on the stage with these lights on me in a do-or-die moment. I've never had that before. That was the first time for me. And I made a lot of mistakes throughout that weekend, not just on the racetrack, but preparation and how I got there. I didn't know what I was doing, so I had to learn. Just like anybody in their first time, they'd have to figure it out. You know, you can listen to people and all that, but there's not many people who have actually lived through this before. They can give you the advice you really, really need. So after going through that once, and then going through that a few times throughout this chase presents a lot of opportunities. I call them Miami opportunities. The same pressure you feel when you come down here to race for a championship, you have to do that multiple times throughout this last 10 weeks. And you know, so for me, I feel a lot more prepared. I feel ready for this weekend. And I was actually talking to a few of my team guys. Man, I feel so much different than I did a couple years ago, and my whole team feels that way. We feel a lot more relaxed because we're confident and we know what the challenge is ahead of us.
Yeah, almost identical. I feel the same way.
All right, Chris Knight and Brant James.
Chris Knight, catchfence.com. For the four of you guys, at what point does respect and friendship go out the window as the checker flag nears and you do what you got to do to win the championship?
I guess that's a secret for everybody.
I'm gonna wreck them all in practice. Right off the first lap of practice, just wreck everybody.
All right, Brant, you had a question? And then we're going to wrap it up with Ryan McGee.
Brant James, USA Today Sports. For each of you, what, in a one-off situation like this, what variable concerns you the most, whether in your control or not, heading into this?
I think there's always things that can happen during the race, right? So many different things can happen. This isn't one of the longest races of the year. It's pretty short, but you're already able to recover if something happens early in the race. And you know, you think years back, Tony Stewart did it, you know, and was able to come back and win the race. It's only fresh in my mind because I watched the same thing Carl did. But you know, there's a lot of things that can happen just like every single week. You know, you control your own destiny. You know, I'm not a believer in luck at all. I believe you create your own, and I feel like our team's prepared for it. You know, preparation's key, like Kyle said. Our team's prepared for that, and we're prepared for anything. You know, you got to expect the unexpected. You know, anything can happen at any moment, and you got to be ready to you know, roll the punches.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and just trying to be creative and say it in a different way. I mean, we're preparing for war. We have no clue what's going to happen during the course of the 400 miles. We've had the luxury of a few extra weeks to prepare, and we feel that we've really gone into great depths to get prepared and ready for this race from all aspects of the team. But you have no idea what challenges are going to be thrown at you. Last week, I found a new rule that you can't pass the pace cars. You're on your way to pit road, and it's a lap penalty too, by the way. So you want to make sure you don't do that one. So you just have to roll the punches and see what's thrown at you. We all hope that we won't have any adversity, but man, when you want something this bad and something this important, you're going to have adversity through the course of the weekend. So we're ready for whatever it is. Hope we don't find it, but we're ready.
Yeah, I think this is just being ready for anything that happens, having all parts of your team working well, and using all the experience that you have to minimize those mistakes or to correct those things that go wrong. What was the question?
What variable concerns you the most heading into a one-off race like
You like my lead in right there? What was your question? Having short memory. I think that's probably key a little bit.
Come on, Brant.
Don't remember what just happened. Just try to focus on what's ahead. And like these guys said, you prepare for war, and you don't know what's coming. But as bad things get thrown at you, you got to just look forward and keep going.
All right, we'll wrap it up with Ryan.
Ryan McGee, ESPN. Jimmie, this is for you. In years past, I think about 1994, we spent months talking about Dale Earnhardt's going to tie Richard Petty. we haven't asked you about this all day. Have you given yourself a chance to think about the possibility of one of the greatest records in all of motorsports?
You know, I know it's here. I know that I'm as close to this opportunity as I've ever been. But I'm not climbing in that car Sunday saying I've got to win 7. I'm saying I got to win a championship. You know, it's my own personal thing that I want to do. It's something that, you know, even though I have the 6, the last couple of years, the group of guys that have come together, the way we've worked together, the way all of Hendrick Motorsports has worked together, you know, there's something, and it's kind of crazy to even say, but at least in the way I'm living my life right now, there's something bigger than that 7 right now that's going on. And it's something that's much more vivid in my mind. So I'm ready to go to war with these guys. We're fired up. Of course, I would love to tie them. I mean, without a doubt. And the question's been asked a lot, and you know, we start each year with, could this be the year? And as we've transferred through the rounds, I've had to ask the question, and it's something that I guess I've learned to embrace, and I'm honored to have this opportunity, and it would be a massive honor to join Petty and Earnhardt. I mean, without a doubt. And I hope that I can do that someday. If it's not this year, we'll be back next year and we're going to try again. But it would be a huge honor, but it's not my ultimate motivation and why I'm climbing in the car as hungry as I am.
All right, that'll end today's Championship 4 press conference, but each of our 4 title contenders will be available for breakout sessions this afternoon at the back of the room. Jimmie is actually heading there right now and will be followed by Carl, Kyle, and Joey. Thank you, everyone, for coming today. Enjoy the rest of the media day, and we will see you at the track on Sunday.
There's like